Frank's DIY disaster. What happens when good intentions lead to major home disasters? Meet Frank, the well-meaning friend with a vision for transforming Ray's home. Picture this, a cozy living space filled with memories, now in desperate need of a little love and a lot of elbow grease. Frank decides it's high time for a renovation, dreaming big without considering the challenges he may face. This is a tale of ambition, amateurism, and unforeseen troubles that remind us that sometimes it's better to know our limits.
A second or third opinion, your destiny is determined by your decisions. Now, if you're a guy like Lance Armstrong, you focus immediately on, I gotta find a solution. The meaning you come up with is, this is the ultimate battle. And what you decide to do is you're gonna exhaust every possibility. Now, that doesn't guarantee you're gonna succeed, but it's interesting. When you have that kind of a mindset, it shifts you. And Lance Armstrong, I mean, he was told things like, look, you got tumors here in your brain.
Ray's house, a charming two-story from the 1980s, had seen better days. The bright yellow walls had dulled with time, and the old carpet was a relic of fashion gone by. However, it held a special charm, with family photos and laughter echoing in every room. Enter Frank, a self-proclaimed DIY enthusiast, whose last project involved making a birdhouse, and it turned out surprisingly well. The idea of sprucing things up felt exciting, yet the reality of the task ahead was far more daunting than he or Ray could have imagined. During one sunny afternoon, they sat down to discuss the renovations. Frank enthusiastically laid out his grand ideas: a fresh coat of paint, new fixtures, maybe even an open-concept living area. Ray, while supportive, hesitated at Frank's confidence. "Do you think we should call a professional?" he asked. But Frank waved his concerns aside, confident that he could handle the easy stuff. They agreed on specific areas: the living room, the kitchen, and maybe a small bathroom update. Little did they know that this decision would soon lead them into deep waters. Armed with an impressive array of tools, saws, hammers, and a heart full of passion, Frank was ready to dive in headfirst. He watched a few online videos and gathered supplies, his excitement palpable. The family looked on, filled with hope and a sprinkle of apprehension. Frank's enthusiasm filled the air, and it was infectious. Yet the reality was that diving into renovations was not as straightforward as he had anticipated. Very quickly, measuring and cutting became chaotic, turning the living room into a makeshift lumberyard.
To put all our intention and focus into something, there's our ability to do the right things, to have the right strategy, to execute. And then there's some grace. There's what some people call luck, some people call grace. There's, if you do the right things over and over again and with total focus, sometimes, you get good fortune that comes your way. And you tend to have more good fortune when you're totally focused and decisive and you take lots of action than if you kind of just sit around and accept things like that you don't have a future.
As the dust settled, the first signs of trouble emerged. Starting with simple tasks like painting walls, Frank didn't consult the instructions and miscalculated how much paint he would need. Drips and drops splattered all over the floor, and Ray could only watch nervously. The measurements for the new cabinets were off by several inches. Despite Ray's gentle suggestions and apprehensive looks, Frank's stubbornness shone brightly. Ignoring advice quickly became a theme, as Frank became increasingly invested in proving his abilities. Then came the moment of reckoning. As Frank tried to remove a supporting wall in the kitchen to create more space, the full weight of the structure shifted ominously. With a loud crash, the ceiling began to droop, threatening to cave in. Frank's eyes widened in horror. Everyone rushed to the room, alarmed at the sight. The chaos unfolded like a scene from a comedy, Ray yelling for safety, and Frank standing there, helpless, a look of utter disbelief on his face. The immediate aftermath made it clear that this wasn't just a minor setback. It was a full-blown disaster that would require more than a simple fix. In the aftermath, tension filled the air. Frank and Ray stood facing each other in the wreckage of what had once been a kitchen. "Why didn't you listen to me?" Ray finally snapped. Frank, bruised ego and all, was defensive. "I thought I could handle it." As emotions flared, it became clear they needed to work together. The family quickly rallied around Frank, embracing a spirit of unity. After some discussion and a few deep breaths, they reached out for professional help to repair the damage. This moment of realization bonded them, teaching the value of teamwork and humility. From the rubble of their renovation gone wrong, valuable lessons emerged. The experience highlighted the importance of recognizing personal limits in DIY projects. Now, Frank understood that sometimes seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a pathway to success. The family emerged from chaos with a newfound appreciation for planning and expert guidance. Reflecting on their journey, Ray let out a soft chuckle. Despite the chaos, they now had quite the story to tell. The adventure reminded them that everyone makes mistakes, and it's all part of life's learning curve. So remember, folks, sometimes it's better to leave it to the experts. A little humility can go a long way in transforming your house into a home.